So I've had a few requests to do a video on stretches for climbing. I think this is a really good idea for a show topic. A lot of times people focus too much on strength training and not enough on improving their flexibility. Flexibility can be really important for something as simple as getting a high foot or maybe moving into a position that feels awkward if you're not flexible enough. Even for rope climbing, flexibility can be important for moving efficiently and smoothly up the route. So one position you might find yourself in while climbing is facing the wall with both of your legs out like this and trying to get as close to the wall as possible so that you don't pop off of a small handhold. A stretch that's really useful for helping to keep your body close to the wall is this one, which you're probably familiar with. Similar to sitting cross-legged, except just holding your feet together in the middle and then trying to hold your knees down as much as possible. So you can see I'm not all that flexible myself. It can also be helpful to try to lean your body forward. Stretch a few more muscles that way. So another way you can stretch the same muscles is by moving into a crouching stance and pressing your legs apart from there. I like this stance because it approximates an actual climbing position a little bit better. There's a couple different stretches I like to do to help me reach high feet. One of them, I'll put my knee by my chest, then I'll rotate my leg to the inside and try to lower my body down. This really stretches the outside of your leg here. And then I'll flip over and rotate my leg to the outside. This way I'm allowing myself to stretch so that I can reach holds up on the inside or the outside. Let me just show you my other leg to give you another perspective on that. After doing those stretches, I usually feel like my hip flexors are getting a little tight. So I like to stand up and do this stretch, where I extend one leg back and bend my front leg. Try to twist my torso forward, facing forward. And you can start to feel it right here, where it's getting tight. Obviously do this with both legs. One situation you might encounter when you're climbing is you'll have a foothold over here, another foothold way over here, and you have to be flexible enough to stretch your legs this far apart. So for those of you who aren't very flexible, such as myself, as you can see, this position can be kind of precarious or painful and difficult to get out of. So you want to make sure that you do this stretch so that you can improve your flexibility and get in and out of this position more easily, reaching farther and farther out. So those are the really essential leg stretches, but if you want, you can also stretch your quads, your calves, or your hamstrings. So in addition to stretching out your legs, you'll also want to stretch out your core and your back. One way that you can do this is simply reaching to the side. This might remind you of certain climbing moves that you have to do, where you're reaching way across to another hold. So stretching that out first can make it a lot easier. Also, you just want to stretch straight back and hug your legs to stretch your lower back. So finally, I want to go over just a couple arm and upper back stretches. One muscle group that you'll use a lot while climbing are your upper back muscles here next to your shoulder blade. You can stretch those by reaching across your opposite leg and extending that leg out until you start to feel the stretch up here, like this. You also use your forearms a lot when you're climbing. So you'll want to do a few different forearm stretches. So you'll put your hands together and bend your arms till you reach a 90-degree angle at your wrists. So you can do this pointing your hands up, but you also want to do it pointing your hands down, because you're stretching different muscles in your forearms for those two. Alternatively, you can sit like this, press your arms down like this, so that your forearms are getting a stretch that way too.